2, 1. Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark Amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Into the Nexus is sponsored by listeners like you via patreon.com/ITN. Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. I'm Garrett Weinzierl. I'm joined, as always, by Kyle Fergusson. How are you doing, dude?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Garrett?
I'm excited because I know we are going to basically spend the entire strategy segment talking about Arthas. So I'm sitting here saying, don't bring up Arthas, don't talk about Arthas, save it for that. But we have an excuse to talk about Arthas, and it makes me happy.
I'm excited to be here. It was a great week of Heroes. Did a lot of climbing on my own streams and Team League. Got to play with my friends. This is the go-to 5-people game. We got our road bumps, our 3-people game, our 4-people game. We get 5 people. Here's the Storm's the party game.
Okay, we got a 3-people game. We got a 4-people. So the 3-people game is Mario Party with a broken controller.
Yes.
The 4-people game is GoldenEye.
Halo with Mad Cats. Okay.
Oh,
no, you
Halo
want GoldenEye? I like it.
Okay, GoldenEye. All right, I was sticking with the N64.
Okay.
But that wouldn't make sense. Yours makes more sense because in this narrative, if one of the controllers is broken, you then wouldn't play with 4 people. Anyways, yeah, I like
You can't get a 5th person in, but there was that splitter in the PlayStation, right? You could get for more than, because there was like 8 people in Little Big Planet, was it?
Was it? You could play with 8 people? Is that a thing? I was not aware of this.
Or maybe it was just because the PlayStation had 2 slots and you would split it into 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
That's what I'm going to go with. I played quite a bit of Little Big Planet, but it was very much akin to Mario Maker for me. I would just get in, see the really weird stuff everyone else made, and then move on with my life.
Yeah, Mario Maker did it right, though, where they actually had to beat the level in order to post it.
Yes, that was certainly a thing in Little Big Planet, although I was never that interested in beating the levels. I just wanted to see the fresh hells that people on PlayStation would create.
Reminds me of Brood War Arcade, even StarCraft Arcade, but Brood War was more creative. I think because StarCraft was taxing, right? Not everyone had a computer that could get completely bogus, but you'd play, at least I would play, set up one siege camp and surrounded by as many Zerglings as possible and see what wins.
I would just, I would do what I did and just wait to play StarCraft until about 2008.
Yeah.
And then then you're good. Your computer can handle it.
It's fun to skip load screens now that we're in the future.
Yes.
On old games. To slightly topical Anthem, but you know what? Moving on.
On every game that isn't Anthem, I would say. But yeah, it's going all right, man. What you been up to in Heroes of the Storm? You've been doing any hero switching? Is anything new happening in your hero's life?
No, man, it's Tank Town. It's been a lot of fun. I am currently Diamond 2, and there are plenty of Masters players that I get flown in to their games, and they want to carry, and I let them. And it's not quite as like who can support. Oh, the support just go support. Last guy, tanking is a process and takes game knowledge and feels rewarding, and I body block and do all these cool things, and it's really tickling my fancy right now.
I enjoy a good fancy tickling.
Yeah. It's fun.
Can we take a moment, because I don't think we've on the podcasts mentioned your major life announcement.
What? That's not related to here. Actually, it is slightly related.
This is like, yes, In the Nexus is first and foremost a Heroes of the Storm show. It is also, however, it's our rock, dude. Like it is the forum for our friendship.
That's true.
Congratulations, you and Kristen are with child.
Yes, we are. That game I mentioned last week where I called my mother. It was that very call where I told her. So you know what? Hero League has its uses.
You didn't bring it up, and so I was just like, I knew that that's when you called your mother and broke the news to her. But I was just sitting there on the episode. I'm like, is he just gonna casually drop it to the listeners that he's having a baby?
Hey, this show's all about gaming. I'm always concerned that people are giving me like, is Kyle even gonna have time for games? Yeah, because I'm a well-scheduled person who freaking loves video games. I'm gonna make time. What are you talking about? Like, with everything that's going on right now in Heroes of the Storm, in MOBA land, even Fortnite's eating everybody's lunch. That's just happening. No,
it's not. Apex Legends is eating Fortnite's lunch.
And eating some Heroes lunch too, because Heroes people love it too. And I know we said the name. I'm sorry. We're moving on. Though it's been fun and it's made me really like high aggression. It's been really fun for Heroes to be in a more like we get them kind of mind space. Maybe good at Garrosh, honestly. But I love freaking MOBAs, man. It's been a bizarre week of shows canceling and people wondering where their state of the game is and what's going on there. And for me, it hasn't changed since I was 14. I freaking love MOBAs. And to parallel that with what's happening with Anthem, a lot of people, Destiny people, love Anthem. They're like, oh, a loot and shoot with story. Oh my God, it can happen. And BioWare people are like, what the hell happened? This isn't a story. This isn't an epic tale for me. And I feel like a lot of people are leaving and they tried to make Heroes better for them. I'm still here. I love this game as it is.
It's a good way to put it, man. It's just that I'm not in the same boat. Like Heroes, I played Dota 2 a modest amount with you back in the early days of StarCraft 2 when we were having lulls and things like the International were getting real popular. I'm like, all right, fine, Kyle, I'll finally try it. But it didn't really take until this game. But I am in the boat of I'm still enjoying this game. I still think this game is in a good place. There are certain things I think need to be addressed, and we'll talk about those later. But
absolutely,
overall, my quick match on my team league, queues are still short. Players are still plentiful. Rage still happens.
Does. All those things are constants in the MOBA universe, but damn, I love this game style, and even a fancy new shooter can't take me away from this thing I love. So no worries, everybody, for what it's worth saying.
Indeed. That being said, go subscribe to Enter the Apex. Do it. Not into, enter. Because ETA is cooler than ITA as an acronym, or I guess technically an initialism because you can't say it. Go find Enter the Apex anywhere. I even put it on Stitcher for you folks. That's how much I love the listeners. Yeah.
You get it. Into, enter, out of will be the next podcast, or I guess...
Really, I'm going to say it just comes down to the acronym.
Yeah, ETA is real good. Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Sorry, everybody. It's fine. It's fine.
I think the only person who truly full out panicked was Jeff Kanata. Everyone else on Twitter has been like, is Into Nexus still good? And we go, yes. And they're like, sweet, I'll listen to both.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think as long as we can just, Jeff, if you're listening, we're back like we said we would be. It's like the encore that keeps on happening. The band is like, this is our last song, everybody, thank you. And you're in the crowd thinking, those buttholes are going to walk off stage for like a minute tops, and they're going to come back, and they're going to play like 4 more songs. Because I haven't heard their like top 2 radio hits, and there's no way they're leaving without playing them.
Yeah. We're giving you the full experience. So see you next month, Jeff. Thanks for hanging with us.
Indeed. But let's go ahead and get into this week's Here's to the Storm news. And I just realized I'm on the tack rack, and I don't think anyone wants to hear this. Oh, it didn't play.
No one wanted to hear it.
No, clearly not. I don't know how loud this is going to end up being when I actually get to the correct rack of stuff, but here it is. I hope I don't make you go deaf.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Stay a while and listen.
I may have been messing with my audio equipment today, and things are a little weird. Hopefully that's the only hiccup. So, anyways, let's have a patch check-in, Kyle, because we had a big patch last week. We didn't talk about it very much because some stuff went down.
We honestly talked about the PTR a week earlier.
That's true, and not really much had changed since then. But that being said, we saw all these changes to Abathur, to Ana, to Rhaegar, to White Mane. What has happened? Well, Abathur is up.
He's up 1.5, which gives him a 46.9, so a 47% win rate. He's being picked on the proper map, so Abathur people still like Abathur, and he's doing okay. In fact, I've seen really good damage out of the guy, just not the same healing numbers. So you're not even thinking like Zarya sort of levels of aid here. It is a light sprinkling of heals that may or may not be bursted off the target before it does any healing in the first place.
Right. Kyle, would you like to know some of the heroes that if you go over to hotslogs.com right now and look at the win rates, would you like to know some of the heroes that have a lower win rate than Abathur?
I would.
Would you believe me if I told you Cassia has a lower win rate than Abathur?
Whoa.
Now do you want me to really blow your mind?
Damn, that's some perspective, man.
Yeah, it's real close. However, without leaving Cassia, let me blow your mind further. Abathur has significantly more games played and an astronomical more amount of games banned.
Yeah, not a lot of people repping the Cassia. I mean, Cassia is in a really weird spot right now. We fought one last night in our 5-stack quick match fun tomfoolery, and it destroyed us because we had 4 melee, because we were playing for fun, and they all did auto attack damage. Our only range was Tracer. So, hey, another melee, basically, doing auto attack damage. It sucked. She went infinite ball at 20. We couldn't win. It destroyed us. But that's Cassia's weird play. She came out during that armor time period where they were trying to rock, paper, scissors the game a little bit and make the drafts more diverse. They're trying to be, well, you don't always go Vala. You don't always go Greymane. Let's see what we can do with armor and mess with it. I'm so darn happy, so happy that other than really a Nubrak who's on an ability click in the first place with his spell armor and his shield on top of it, we've moved away from armor-based tanks. It's so relaxing.
Yeah. I'm surprised to see Cassie this low with how popular Raynor seems to be. I mean, he's still in the top 10 win rates, again, with stats available to us. But, you know, he's not alone. You got Sylvanas up there and other auto attackers, but I figured Cassie would be doing a little bit better. But Abathur...
same with Zul'jin, right? Like, it just... I think when you blind, and Johanna still has this problem, Johanna's doing okay in the win rates, but when you blind somebody who is a more pure auto attacker, guess what? You didn't really steal anything. They just stop, and then they'll go again in 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds. Yeah.
The one that I was surprised to see is Gul'dan being below Abathur.
There's a lot of reposition. Poor Gul'dan gets swapped a lot.
Yeah, but Garrosh is even below Gul'dan, so at least there's one repositioner kind of getting his due, I guess. Still, so many games banned on Mr. Garrosh.
Yeah, poor Deckard at the moment, too, with the lowest win rate support at 44%.
Just makes me sad. And again, it's not something I see represented in my own games. Deckard seems to still work.
He does. His initiation isn't as strong as it once was, which is, I think, just a change of our more brawly mindset at the moment. Things are, if you're not playing ranked right now, things are really smash and grabby. It's a really fun meta because if you are a good tank, you're in control of a lot of people. You are grabbing onto possibly 3 people at a time and manhandling them because these front lines are just slamming together.
Yeah, they are. And both sides have them, which means they're together, which means if you've got something like an Uberak, chances are you're hitting multiple people with your stuns.
Right, and I think that means that Deckard trying to heal those people is either throwing potions forward that never get used, they only hit tanks, and if you put them behind for retreat, the retreats don't happen, and everybody dies.
There's a lot of, there's some hard commitment in Heroes of the Storm right now. I'm kind of digging it. And I don't think anything, looking at stats right now, I don't think anything really shows how hard the commitment is, more so than the fact that Kerrigan is currently on top of the win rates.
Yeah, she's doing well. I think that could just be from things like Arthas, who we're saying we're not talking about right now quite yet. Also Imperious, but Kerrigan's getting a lot of setup for her abilities. Even something like Leoric winning a lot. That's a big slow that causes the stun to connect. It's a lot of damage. And like we're saying, we're smashing people together. Throw out an Ultralisk. That helps the smash, or also a Maelstrom. Both ults are pretty good right now. The one that I want to throw into the perspective pile versus you, Garrett, is I personally get pretty bummed when I see a Blaze, but whenever I see a Murder, I'm like, oh man, here comes the pro. They're the same win rate at 45%.
What, Blaze and Murden?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. What do you think is causing that, though? Like, to me, I look at Murden and I'm like, oh, it's just a popular hero. If you're returning, you're probably jumping on him. If you're new, you're probably trying him out. And yet, he also has the stalwart old school fans.
The majority of games I lose right now are an inability to adapt to late game talent stacks and decisions. Basically, you just start leaking kills from somebody who's engaging the exact same way they've done the entire game. And I think Murden's that's a huge issue for him. You jump in, ha, slam, ha. Even after you get your healing static, you're just doing the thing you were doing earlier, but it's lasting a little longer.
Yeah, exactly. So what you just think Murdens need to adapt better?
Maybe cool the jets, but it's tough. You know, you're farming all early game, and I think I would be very curious to see what his win rate would be if they removed his quest. If they just stopped the random stuns, so you're focusing on better stuns the whole game, and then, lo and behold, late game, you're making good stuns rather than stun stitches again and again.
Things are going to be slower now because of what's happening over at the Heroes team, but I would imagine at some point, especially considering how they changed up Anna's quest, I think it's going to happen at some point. Because you're right.
Campaign.
Why? Why would you... It makes no sense to be throwing stuns out just to stack them up. That should be something... It's a cooldown you should respect. It is a resource that you should use for the correct scenario and not just be, I just need to stack it. Go, go, go. As much as I can.
D-Quest Arthas. Murden. Poop. Arthas is fine.
Inside your brain right now, is it doing what mine was? Or are you just going, don't talk about Arthas, don't talk about Arthas. D-Quest Arthas.
Damn it, I'm going to break it. Okay, the great thing about Arthas's level 1 quest is that it is a full cast style change. You are going from, I want to root this, to I want to root all of this. And that makes you change your play style in the late game and when you completed the stacks. That's the problem with Convection a lot of the ways, too, is just frontline, 3 stacks, woo, hooray for Kael'thas. But you never change it once you've completed the stacks. You're not aiming at the backline because you do more burst damage. You're still hitting what you always were.
I mean, is that because you're taking percentage damage based on hitting more than one target, and so you still want to play that way anyway? Or is it because you just don't want to change how you're playing mid-game?
Yeah, it is also safe, and the big ones kind of increase your range in that sense. It is a safer play style in that way. And, you know, right now, Burned Flesh is so seductive and actually has the higher win rate, but, you know, it's all about that Ignite.
Sorry, did you say Burn Flesh is seductive?
It is. It's real 8% Giant Killer at level 7. It's really hot. Literally. It is. Like when you see that pop on a Garrosh, your brain goes, but it makes you go Fury of the Sunwell later. And you want to go Ignite right now.
I really like Fury of the Sunwell.
I know. It's a cool zoning tool, but Ignite wins games.
Yeah. No, you are not wrong.
Anna also got moved around, and she gained herself a 1.2 increase win rate to a flat 50%. She has seen a huge spike in picks, particularly in unranked, going up 10% there and 6% in ranked, making her the top 3 healer in the game. But there's also a little exploit at the moment, which is hilarious and quite cheesy. Your Eye of Horus ultimate can heal Ghostly Auric.
I think this should stay, and we should just say that she's such a good sniper that she can hit dead people in another realm.
Yeah, but she's missing an eye, so she's seeing with her dead eye, right? She's got death vision.
I guess she is missing an eye.
I've assumed so. It might be like a Nick Fury sort of. No, his eye's bad though, right? Or is it robotic?
No, he can't see out of his eye.
Yeah,
Did he have a robotic eye at one point? There's been a lot of Marvel movies, and I don't remember anymore, Kyle.
Thor got the robot eye.
Yes, which is good because I don't like eye patches that are just stuck in there. I need some sort of securing mechanism. Anyways, getting off topic.
It was like halfway through the movie or filming, he was like, "I can't do this anymore. Can we ungreen screen my face?" And they just went with it.
I would also like to point out that we will be starting up a new podcast called Marvel Eye Spoilers, coming to a feed near you.
We need words
Words
that are like enter.
Enter. It was just a joke. It was a one-off. It was a one-off joke. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Anna around. I can tell, Kyle. It feels like I can see a lot of new Annas.
Yes.
Because I'm either A, seeing a lot of shots missed, or B, just not seeing a lot of shots made. Like, I'm just looking at that Anna, like, hey, you gonna shoot me with that dart? You gonna hit your cue, please? Thank you.
And as the Annas advance, I wonder if they'll move away from grenade builds, which 75% of them are doing. Just grenade talents down the line. It's way easier to play because you got this big old AoE you throw. You might be facing that Alex Straza in some sort of draft environment. You want to negate the healing. Just take in contact healing, biotic enhancements, anti-healer is going to give you the highest win rate.
Yeah. Well, it's least amount of room for error, right?
Yeah, it's easy to miss.
Yeah.
And most of them aren't breaking their aim down sights anyway and limping away when things come in melee.
Keep an eye on that, everyone. Yeah, see what I did there?
Yeah. iPad.
Yep. Rhaegar, we were very excited that he could self-cast his ancestral healing once again for the first time in over 2 years. I don't remember the amount of time now. I know I wrote it down for last week, but it is eluding me at the moment. He has seen an increase, but not a giant one. His win rate has increased by only 1%. He's at 53% win rate right now. His pick rate is up 2%. He is now the second best overall healer with the stats that we have access to. I see this as a good thing, and I also see this, Kyle, as sweet, sweet vindication for the years that we've been saying just give him self-casting ancestral healing back. It's not going to break the game. I look at this and I go, proof! It's proof, Kyle, that we were right, that it didn't break the game, that he only saw a minor uptick in win rate.
We got to remember, though, that when Rhaegar got his rework, his damage was way too high, and all that has been pulled back. So we could have done this maybe a year and a half ago, but it is okay to do now.
Yes. Yes, it is. Also, would like to point out that Kerrigan rose to the top spot out of nowhere, so just keep an eye on Rhaegar. I could be wrong. Maybe he's going to just continue climbing from here on out.
I mean, it's a good combo, actually, Rhaegar Kerrigan. That's something I was doing back in the beta, honestly. They work so well together.
Well, why wouldn't you want to put lightning shields on Kerrigan?
Lightning shields, ancestral, it's all pretty good. Hell, even if you go with the Bloodlust, you're going to have a good time.
Oh, Bloodlust Kerrigan. Can we do that tonight in the Bonanza games?
I think if we run like that Abathur, or something kind of second supporty, main tank Uther, that could be really fun.
I miss my Kerrigan, man, and I don't like playing her without friends.
We really need to negate that support business that hits Kerrigan hard, like Brightwing. I mean, Brightwing is number 4 healer at the moment. She's climbing. And when we talk about supports climbing, somebody's suffering. And the people who are suffering right now are Lucio and Deckard. Lucio's still middle of the box, doing fine, but his win rate's falling fast.
Yeah, what happened to him? He was top dog like a month ago.
I think Rhaegar and others are just beating his lunch, They're kind of doing what he's doing. Beat drops are good. I think our fights last a little too long, maybe, for the beat drop to function the way it did. I'm seeing less and less Jaina's, which is weird. And Kael'thas is getting so many bans in my league now. Might show kind of the audience, right? Like, we lost some skill in the top. As skill decreases, Kael'thas gets better, so we're banning Kael'thas more and more.
And also, if you're newer to the game or improving your skill, you may have spent a lot of time playing Kael'thas, so all of a sudden there's just Kael'thas with the skill to play the hero rising up.
Yeah.
But Jaina's still doing fine. I'm going to keep saying this until she's as low as Tassadar. Jaina's a great pick. She actually rose in the past 7 days in win rate. She's listening to a lot of games played. Not as many as she used to, but just pick Jaina. It's fine. Those nerfs did not hit her that hard. And we can see, if you're drafting, man, you can see the opponent's names now. And if you're getting targeted, you're going to have to learn how to play other heroes. So are you a big Kael'thas fan? Pick up that Jaina.
Yeah, that's a pretty big conversation around the community this week is, should that have happened? It sort of rolled in randomly with the last patch, and I've been through it. You know, the hardest time, the most I disliked Heroes of the Storm was when they killed my Tychus with the range. And after that, I started to adapt, become less one-trick pony. Of course, there was the Uther double support thing that happened, and that was a bit frustrating. But at this point, I've just got so many picks, and it's exciting to be ban out because you get to bring out that thing that you've been working on in the background.
Yeah, I jumped... whatever, talking about it. I got back on Arthas this week. Dude, it's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
It just works. And you mentioned playing a certain popular shooter at the moment made you more aggressive. I was chasing fools down as Arthas, which is a funny thing to say because all I can do is walk. But, you know, I was out of the game for a little bit, so I got, out of the Arthas game for a little bit, and I'm like, well, okay, what's going on? What's the popular build right now? Turns out, really, you could probably close your eyes and pick all of the talents, and you would end up on a build that has a positive win rate, according to Hotslogs. But the one that seems to be doing the most work is an Aura build, which I love. I love Aura builds on Arthas, so I was just, no one could get away from me. It was wonderful.
It's the reason to take him, really.
Yeah, it's gross. Certainly isn't for Sindragosa.
No. Maybe someday on some distant battlefield of eternity, we will Sindragosa once again.
Yep.
Whitemane was the only other hero hit by any sort of balance change last week. It was very minor. It was to her top pick level 4 talent, which was at 88% popularity. It is now at 77% despite its nerf, and no big changes there.
No, pick rate dropped a little bit on Whitemane. That's it. I still have no idea why they nerfed her.
Whitemane at 45% has one place, really, and it's against things like Johanna. There's going to be something in front that is going to last so long that you get to hit it. And you shouldn't be hitting that target. So How do we get Whitemane back up? Can she do damage to lane minions? And can we have that give healing? Is it so bad that she has to hit heroes all the time? I mean, that's really the restrictor on her. I think she's really cool. And she's a cool design. She actually is quite unique from Tyrande, who I don't think is damage based, more just like hitting things based for her heals. You got to hit things. Oh, cooldown reduction. Whitemane has to hit things turns into healing. Maybe if we just let her wail on the minion lane while healing over on the Braxis pod, things are going to be okay for her.
I would like to see that. I'd like to see anything because I love her kit so much. I think has one of the coolest support kits in the game, and it's just not working.
Yeah. The other, she's so feast or famine too, because when you're ahead on Whitemane, you're infinite mana, heal yourself, run away forever, and when you're behind, you can't do anything. Yeah,
but Artanis is like that too, and yet he still finds a way to make it work.
That's true. Artanis will always have his camps. There's always the chance that Artanis farts off and does something cool or locks onto a building. And that's the problem with Sonya. Like, she could fart off for a camp for half an hour, and she can go take down that building solo lane style for half an hour. Artanis, he gets on that thing. Amateur opponent's going to do its work.
Yeah. You need to teach me Artanis. That's my next hero.
It's fun.
We should make a note. We need to do an Artanis boot camp.
Okay. Expose on Artanis.
Yes, please and thank you. Anyways, let's check in with Heroes Esports, which I know sounds a little bananas, but there was a great Team Liquid article that went up talking about what they called the post-apocalyptic Heroes Esports landscape, which can we just start calling it post-apocalyptic Heroes? Because I like it. I like it a lot. I'm all for it. Can we become the Mad Maxes of the of the Heroes of the Storm Wasteland?
I'm down, yeah.
Although I did like you had your what type of undead is Heroes of the Storm at this point poll. And maybe we go with that. It's more fantasy based, more in my and yours wheelhouse. But whatever the case is, I watched. We didn't get a chance to talk about this last week. It had already happened. But the Toasty and Gladman Invitational, the Tempo Storm Invitational, I watched a decent amount of that. I saw the finals. That was a good tournament, dude.
They had a lot of fun, and there's also a very fun one going on called Fight Nights, which if you haven't checked out this with Halloran and Jayhow. This is what casting would look like if no one was hovering on your shoulder. It is just damn good fun. And next Friday, the 1st, is going to be their next one with Team Freedom and Scythe Esports battling it out.
Excuse me, sir. I do believe you mean Team Feed'em.
Oh, is that what they did?
Yeah, they're called Team Feed'em now.
Ah, I see.
They are They are the team formerly known as Freedom, but now they call them Team Feed'em.
I get it.
Listen to that R.
I like their MS Paint logo.
Oh, I love it, dude. I love that they're just rolling with it. The other really cool, I love that you mentioned that it's kind of, you're enjoying Fight Nights because it's like there's no supervisor. We can unbutton our collars and be a little more real. And the same thing happened with the Tempo Storm Invitational. We got to hear player comms. It was really entertaining. And honestly, I learned a lot, while at the same time kind of being hilarious, because I don't know if everyone knows this. You tend to cuss when you're playing a competitive game. It happens. So this is something that clearly could not have happened with a Blizzard run tournament, in my opinion. It never would have happened. And it's not me knocking big official tournaments or anything of that nature. It's just that, you probably need to be something a little more community driven to have that aspect to it.
And to just have the full versions of it. If you are getting involved in something like Heroes Lounge in your own amateur scene, seeing what sort of calls teams make are very useful and what is useful to them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's how I've been trying to get better at playing a certain shooter right now. So I'm going to go watch people who are better than me and see the decisions they make on when to engage and when to retreat.
It's also worth checking out right now that Caldor is casting Heroes Lounge divisions, not just S. You can find these all over at youtube.com/CaldorTV. He is doing the S divisions. These are going up regularly. Some more were posted today. They're divided up by the game, and they're great to watch, and they're very informative. But if you're looking for a good time, he's also doing things like Division 7, which is bronze through gold, and casting those as well. And they have a big old fun label on the thumbnail. It's easy to find. They're just what you would expect, solo lane warriors having at each other while 3 players who sort of know what to do have at it in the middle. It
reminds me of like old school Day 9 when he would, just cast fan games.
Yeah.
And kind of break it down and explain how they could play it better, but it was also just kind of hilarious.
There's a lot of people are complaining right now about Rainbow League games. Oh, I got a silver in my game and I'm in platinum. Like, so on your team too, man. We all have a couple of silvers. I had them last week in my games. Like, there is a style. There are exploits to be had on your team and theirs. Let that silver jade on your team bait. They don't know they're baiting, but you totally got them at the end of it. So watch these Caldor games and check out how you could improve yourself, but also how to sort of interact properly with what you might call a clown fiesta. It's so dismissive. Enjoy this. Honestly, this is my favorite part about MOBAs, is seeing different skills clash.
Yeah, and how you can adapt to that. What can you learn? Pay attention, see exactly what is happening, and then think about how you can take that information and turn it into an advantage for you. It's like that.
Also, the Heroes Lounge today announced their Heroes Lounge Nut Cup is going to be the name of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's sponsored by a China-based nut company, and their Team Nut.
Well, we're back to GSL being sponsored by an energy drink called Hot 6.
Yeah, they don't. I'm sure, it doesn't translate maybe, and it's fine. And here in America, we say Team Nut and we have a giggle. Either way, they're sponsoring a prize pool, $1,800 for a Europe versus China Invitational. That's going to be going down on March 9th and 10th. Yep.
Not too far away. February is receding rapidly.
In fact, EU in general is having a rocking good time with Heroes of the Storm. NA is enjoying, is affected by its doom and gloom, but EU's just rocking on and loving their amateur divisions.
Division S has been a lot of fun. I love that Caldor is casting it now too. It's solid. He's a good caster. Also, for you collegiate fans out there, TESPA, the registration is currently open. for TESPA. The group stage starts March 4th and runs through April 11th, and the championship bracket will start on April 28th and run through May 5th. Head to compete.tespa.org if you want to go and register. And
got to be a student, but you get scholarships for winning and all that sort of business.
Indeed. I don't know if it would be helpful for us to say if you're trying to put a team together, let us know, and we'll signal boost it, because also the listeners would have to be at your same school. But if you think we could help, let us know. itncast@gmail.com. Now, there's some minor news this week as well, Kyle. Previously, gem-only skins can also be found in loot boxes now, apparently. One might put this as an undocumented change.
Sweet. All right. We're getting there. I say, hang on. When we get that gold to shards, all right, let's call it gold. Boom. Just one pile. Just one pile. Make it all gold. All right. But request number 1. Request number 2, let's get some free heroes. Like, just free heroes. 100%. Not 2,000. Not of the week. Just free boys.
Yeah, why not? What do you have to lose at this point? I don't know. We can't see the interior, like what the stats are, what the sales figures are, right? Maybe it's better than we think.
Yeah, we know people buy loot boxes. We know people buy Day of Heroes. People like to hold on to their gold and buy it with real money, depending on your situation. That's all fine. Just give us the free heroes. Just free heroes.
Just do it, please. Thank you. Bring back Master Skins is my request.
Yeah. It's a little late for that, I think. But
I mean, just take skins that already exist and make them the Master Skins for heroes that don't already have them.
Tie them to levels. Maybe those really moldy ones that you got sitting around. Skins got better over time. Our artists improved, used the system better. We're allocated more resources. We can take, some rollerblade Nova and say, all right, it's available as you tier up your Nova and get her leveled. Now, dead serious though, which is always kind of funny because I don't know why people are doing it, but I'm not taking that from you, and no judgments, though I just judged. Bots are messed up, bro. Bots are messed up, and they are hiding by the wells. They aren't responding to pings, and if you end up with one in your game, it is disastrous. That's truth, and that needs to be fixed. However, people who are playing AI-only games are having a horrible time because the bots on a team of 5 are awful right now. Something happened, and this often happens when they do reworks. They work on an old patch. They're working on the release patch maybe of that hero, and then they update it to be this version, and old bugs came out, and there was a whole lot of them dumped on bots this week. And bots suck.
Well, we just had, and I'm sorry, we keep making Apex references, but it's a part of our life now. We just had Trixler on our Apex podcast, and he said that it was something like 40% of Heroes players only play AI.
Yeah.
Like when he still worked at Blizzard, that was a figure that was known internally, and just like that, it's bananas to me. So yeah, you can judge all you want. It's popular. If this is what people have fun doing, let them. And clearly, it is important to a sizable portion of the player base. So this needs to be addressed.
Yeah, very quickly. That's a really big deal. And if you have a lever, which sucks, this is a huge issue. Now, I will say that you should head over to youtube.com/Kyle Fergusson and watch AI Kerrigan carry, because something with Kerrigan is totally rocking. And I watched that bot do multi-jumps on resets, and it was insane. So not all bots are affected, but Zeratul, awful. He's a wall goblin. He's just hiding behind. He's not doing a thing. He doesn't respond to anything. He tries a camp and then hearts. I don't know what's wrong with him.
I like to think all of the artificial intelligence has left every hero in the game and been funneled into Kerrigan. And Kerrigan is now Neo within the Matrix.
She's impressive, honestly.
Hey,
I've
I've been having some connection issues too, so I'm just going to play Kerrigan in every game in the Patron Bonanza tonight. So if I do DC, okay, you're actually going to be better off than if I was playing her myself.
Sounds good. That's the safe strategy right now.
If only there was some way I could play Kerrigan intentionally DC, get the AI bump, and actually climb.
To rejoin right before it's over. And
you figured it out. You figured it out.
There's the bronze strat. Once they improve AI and it's better than you just leave in the early game, then reconnect. And No problem.
It's like the AI Valera from a few weeks ago that the story I told you was like left at the disconnected at the very beginning, was gone the entire game. We were playing against McIntyre. We still got a lead, and then the Valera comes back at like the 11th hour as we're pushing on the core and just goes, "Wow, you're gods." Happens.
Fix it. Serious face. Fix
Yes,
it.
serious face, fix it, even though there's some fun stories coming out of it. I want to look back on this and be like, you remember when AI was broken? Wasn't that funny?
40% of the player base quit playing. Like we need them. Granted, have they not moved on yet? I feel it's worth saying humans are funner. Humans are better. Lamentations, like battle real people.
If that's what you're gonna do, dude, I have friends. Like this isn't like I'm not inventing a friend here. My 2 roommates from college love this game, only play AI.
Weird, man.
It is strange. It is strange, but I don't understand it. And I PvP'd with both of these people. I know they're bloodthirsty. I know they love dumping on actual human beings. There's just something about Heroes of the Storm where they go, I go here to relax. I go here to play my favorite Blizzard hero and trounce AI-controlled other Blizzard heroes.
Huh.
I don't know, man. I mean, frankly, I would say it's more relaxing than other Blizzard games. I get into Hearthstone and I start breaking a sweat.
I don't know. I'm excited about that Darkest Dungeon 2 for that very reason. I'm excited. Like Prison Architect until I get to the end, and I'm like, well, I don't want to. Planet Coaster. You know, there's good strategy games being made. Of course, boy, do I really want new main strategy games like StarCraft. Like the only thing I'm really looking forward to right now is Warcraft Reforged. I really want people to start making strategy games again. But I also came across my Metal Fatigue CD this week. Did you ever even hear of Metal Fatigue?
What the hell is Metal Fatigue?
Empire Earth. Did you ever hear that one? Okay, Metal Fatigue was robots, and you would design giant robots and then make them battle in a StarCrafty sort of unit-based thing.
Right, I'm looking it up. Images, Metal Fatigue. Oh, what a horrendously ugly game.
Oh, it was. Oh, this was at the height of like triangles being an entire arm, you know?
Yeah, because it wasn't sprite-based like the original StarCraft. It was 3D, but early 3D. When did this come out? People also search for Windows 98, by the way, when I search for this game. May 18th, 2000. Did games really look this bad? Yeah, I guess they did.
Yeah,
now that I think about it. I was in 8th grade, so never mind. It makes total sense. This game would have looked amazing in 2000.
Oh, yeah. It was beautiful compared to Brood War, at least in the 3D kind of space.
So
people hate...
While we're off topic, are we going to talk about Warcraft 3 Reforged on this show? Are we just going to be like, it's technically isometric, we're just going to make a segment for it, or are we going to do a limited run? How are we covering that? Because I know you're going to play it. I know I'm going to play it. What are we doing?
I don't know. I don't know if that bug will bite me in the same way. I just last year, towards the end of the year, replayed through Warcraft 3, the entire campaign and the expansion. So
we were sitting next to each other at BlizzCon at the opening ceremonies because we were waiting to start the hero stream, and you and I were watching the most skewed angle ever of a monitor of a projector showing us the opening ceremony, and the Warcraft 3 thing starts. Warcraft 3 announcement starts, and I lean over to you and I go, kind of bad timing for you to replay through this game, wasn't it?
I mean, for the graphics and stuff, yes, but for getting into BFA, it was a perfect time because a lot of that stuff kind of came up in the start of BFA and its storyline. I am curious if it'll get me back into the strategy of it. I have not applied myself to Warcraft 3, knowing what I know now about build orders and how to micromanage and micro and macro, and I'm curious if the bug will bite me like it did for StarCraft 2, and I'm going to carry over those lessons. Heck, if StarCraft 2 came out today, knowing what I now know about heroes and soaking and macro, I'd be a better player there as well. So it's a good time to get in when there's people who suck, right? I'm not going into Warcraft 3 right now. That'd be awful. I think that'd be a horrible experience. I'd get trounced.
Oh, yeah, totally, right? But, yeah. I just can't wait to play through the campaign again. But it's time to get into strategy, Kyle. But before we do that, we should thank those supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN because they have decided to take their hard-earned dollars and subscribe to the show. Some of them give us $1 a show. Some of us give us $5 a show. And we really appreciate it. The show's for free. It's always going to be for free. But if you want to support Kyle and myself, patreon.com/ITN is the best way to do it. Head on over there and consider chipping in $1 or $2 per episode, whatever works for you. And this week, we want to thank some of our newer patrons. Thank you to Kyle B. Thank you to Chad R. And thank you to Jason L. Hey, Jason. We know him.
Oh, Shieldwald, yeah.
Yeah, Shitwell. Hey, man. Thanks. We're apparently still catching up because I remember seeing you sign up a while ago. So we thank you in the order that you signed up. So if you just signed up and you're like, I didn't get thanked this week, it's in order, and we only thank a few every week. We've got your name. We'll get to you eventually. But thank you, seriously, for supporting the show, especially in times like this when everyone's freaking out about the game and, a lot of people are breaking up with it and whatnot. We really appreciate the support, everybody.
It's a good game.
It is a good game. Now let's talk about a good hero and get into this week's strategy segment.
Choose a talent.
Choose a talent.
Talent? Ha, that seems generous.
Don't reveal our plans to our foes. I mean it. Not a word.
So Arthas is now, if you can believe this, the top ranked bruiser on Hots Logs.
He is phenomenal. And we gave him the bruiser title there because he can still do that solo lane thing. Imperius is shaking up the solo lane a little bit too. And Arthas does A-OK there as well. Who doesn't mind, having a little double tank action for some nice clog there when you're running that Tychus or that Kael'thas. But let's just go ahead and make a big assumption that you're a champion. You like tanking, and you're already running a Nubarak and Johanna. All right, you already know how to play those two.
I do, Kyle. I like both of those heroes.
Excellent, because there's a guy named Arthas who is amazing in certain situations, and you need to learn how to play him. You may have seen over the last 2 months various videos being put out by McIntyre, by Not Paradox, trying to urge you to play some Arthas, and we're here to do the same today.
Yeah. I have been in love with this hero since I saw him run his father through in a cinematic in Warcraft 3. And when I saw that you could play as Arthas in the freaking demo for Blizzard Dota many BlizzCons ago, it was it. I was in. I was sold. I knew I was going to play the living crap out of Heroes of the Storm. And the thing was with Arthas, if you're already playing a Nubarak, you're already playing Johanna, think more Johanna. Think less of Nubarak. Because Nubarak, he's got that burrow charge. He can move quickly, albeit with only one ability on a noticeable cooldown. Arthas ain't got none of that. You will walk everywhere. I know he's the Lich King, and the King doesn't walk, but this one does. That's all he does.
We're not going to touch Diablo either, because Diablo is more of a feeling. Like, people who play Diablo love Diablo, and if you don't play him, you just don't touch the guy. But he's still fine, but his win rate's down because of things like Arthas.
It is.
And that's what we're going to get into.
Yes, and yet Diablo is the most banned hero right now. I don't know why.
Nobody wants to be blown up instantly. No one wants to be double manhandled by domination late game. Flame Breath, he's really frustrating to play against. He's kind of like old Genji in that way. He doesn't win. Just people don't want to fight him.
I guess that's fair. I'm going to probably be getting back on Kerrigan soon, so I'm going to be okay with that. But whatever the case is, back to Arthas. So what is it that's happening right now, Kyle? What are you looking to counter with Arthas that makes him such an attractive pick and such a successful pick in the meta we find ourselves in?
You're probably going to lose a Nubarak either to the enemy team or some sort of ban. Johanna, also quite popular, gets picked really early. People see the tank guy say Johanna, and the team goes, yeah, I haven't decided yet. Just do Johanna. We don't care if it's blinds or what. She's sticky. She's fantastic. And she works with such a wide variety of healers because of her own self-sustain through Laws of Hope and shields. Kerrigan, Anubarak, Rhaegar are all in the top win rates. Diablo, Lili, and Muradin are all in the top pick rates. And all 6 of those are countered by our boy Arthas, who is a clog machine who will hold on to that front line with his aura and his slows and his roots. He also has a number of unobvious counters. He's really good against Deckard because, as we mentioned earlier, people are having trouble get to the potions when you clog them up. The potions throw behind, you're slowing them too much. They never reach those potions. They're only hitting the frontline tanks. You got those roots that are going on the back line, perhaps. White Mane, while she needs somebody to chew on, Arthas is phalanx just marching towards her, and she's going to get stuck. Garrosh, even Vala has a really low win rate, 45% against Arthas. Not so much because he lost his physical armor. She chunks him, but you get one root and she's dead. If you hit that, dead. And guess what? Vala's health pool, Death Coil looks pretty good into it.
Yep. And you've already talked a little bit about how you believe his level 1 quest, Frost Presence, is well designed, but let's get into it because I'm with you. It's just this. What is it about Howling Blast that doesn't feel as wasteful as Murden's Stun?
That's a good question.
Because you were real down on Murden, and yet you're like, Frost Presence, wonderful quest, love it. You're doing the same thing. You're taking a key piece of utility from main tank, well, more or less calling Arthas a bruiser here, but I think he can fulfill both roles. Why is it okay to just fire away with your Howling Blast willy-nilly, but Murden's Stun is sacred to you?
A lot of it has to do with what you're comboing with the Arthas. And Murden has a lot of ability to regenerate off the damage he takes, whereas Arthas is really like Varian in the early game. And that's really important. If you're going to listen to the strategy section and then be like, excellent, time for Arthas, you wait till 7 till you're getting crazy at all. And you're waiting till 10 until you do something you think Johanna can pull off. You need the ghouls to heal yourself, and getting the Icebound Fortitude is how you're actually going to survive a lot of the CC and incoming damage by walking yourself slowly everywhere you need to go.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. So you're saying there's just an inherent patience that is forged by the early game of Arthas that makes you a smarter tank, a more cautious one?
Yeah, I mean, you're not in there in the first place. You can help out Kel'Thuzad. He's got a really high win rate. He's now kind of replaced a Deckard as the go-to rooter to set up a Kel'Thuzad. Because you're playing so safe and you're not taking these huge onsets of damage like Murden is, there's less room for those mistake deaths. And you're just throwing one out. Anyone want to make something of it? It's fine. No, I'm just stacking. And by the time you complete this quest, hopefully by level 13 at the latest, you're now firing at the back line with the aid of hitting the frontline tanks and clogging them up so they're not going past you in the first place. By the time that goes off, maybe something like your Remorseless Winner is giving a secondary route on top of that, just completely stopping those Diablos. And we haven't even mentioned, but if you just want to just ruin Greymane or Illidan's day, and Nirel's in here as well, but you don't see a lot of them. There's a lot of Illidans in my league right now because they're excited about Metamorphosis still. But Greymane, the poor boy, if you pick Arthas into him, he is done for until level 20 when he gets a splash on his auto attack.
Yeah. You know who I got paired up with and just for whatever reason it hasn't really happened until now was an Orphea. I was on Arthas and I was like, oh, this is wonderful.
Yes, that is a great combo.
You want to talk about setting up. Oh, doesn't matter what, and it doesn't matter what a heroic Orphea goes for. It's nasty either way.
No, you're also sitting on something like Ancestral Strength. Non-heroic abilities deal 20% more damage to stun, root, silence, or slowed. Guess what you're doing? Rooting and slowing 24/7, basically. Mm-hmm. And grant 1 additional chaos when hit.
Yeah, every time I see a Raynor, I'm just like, high five, dude, we're going to own this.
Yeah, same thing with Raynor, right? Slows. There, we do the same thing with Jaina, but there's downtime. Arthas, when he connects for a long time on those things like Diablo, who get chunked by those very heroes we just mentioned.
Yep, it's some solid stuff. So have you been practicing the Arthas? And you were on him for a little bit there. Are you back?
I mean, like I said, it is a situational pick that is phenomenal to have. I'm still focusing on Anub'arak, Johanna. Everybody loves her. But when you see those picks and really highlighting things like Illidan and Greymane, because it's just such a counter, but also that Kerrigan, who's a high win rate right now, Anub'arak on the enemy side, it is a great way to pull things together. You just got to be patient and don't get kited. And as we mentioned, Vala is too squishy. You get one good root off and even throw a death coil in her face, you're going to feel great about yourself. But people like Zul'jin, Phoenix, or even Stukov, that can kite you backwards or silence you because of your slow movement speed, will chunk you really hard, and you'll struggle into those particular matchups.
Yeah, you need the full force of your team to really engage on something like that. So the only other thing I feel we haven't mentioned, because you mentioned Frost Presence and having to farm it up. You talked about how you need to just be basically careful until 10. Have we talked about the wind up on Army of the Dead? I know it's obvious if you played Arthas before, but if you haven't, or if you are learning this hero, it is completely okay to pop this long before you even show yourself to the enemy.
It lasts 15 seconds. They do some damage, which is nice, and get little surrounds, and the things are rooted. And it's a decent increase in your DPS, particularly on something lower like Arthas. But this is not your Muradin avatar. You are not going to suddenly save yourself. You need to hit this button when you're at 3/4 health, and then when you go down to half real quick, and then when you're almost dead, you already have the thing going. So you're spamming that R and sacrificing your ghouls to get your health back. But it makes a huge turnaround. Imagine this really light engaging, careful Arthas who maybe makes a couple of cool choices around Icebound Fortitude, which is worth talking about. Activate one button to gain 25 armor, reducing damage taken by 25%, reducing stuns, slows, and roots duration by 75% for 3 seconds. This is perfectly fine to use to reduce the damage incoming on you. Really great if you're trying to get out of a route or anything like that you can see coming, or if you're fighting that Diablo.
I think this is my favorite talent to recommend to really. I mean, it's good. It's just a good talent straight up. But if you were learning this hero, if you're new to Arthas, I think Icebound Fortitude is a great talent to take, especially if you're still learning the wind-up period of Army of the Dead, because Icebound Fortitude kind of buys you that, I should have popped Army already and I need to survive. You pop the Icebound Fortitude, immediately hit your R, and a lot of times it does give you that just little bit of cushion to keep you alive before you can start popping ghouls and healing back up.
35-second cooldown on that guy. You can be pretty liberal with it. And for the most part, it's, you get a little frosty, but Garrosh literally yells, "I'm unstoppable!" And then you wait, and then you stun him afterwards. It's kind of hard to see, and you might get 2 of these off in a fight, so use it liberally. But wait till that 10. Activate Army of the Dead as you engage in the fight, and guess what? If there's an objective, Sky Temple is his highest win rate, or Dragonshire, something that you're going to be fighting on, Infernal Shrines. You pop this thing, you start walking in, no harm done. Do they run away? Well, you did it. You did it. You have a bunch of ghouls now helping you out, but you did it. You won. If you waste your out, you never did in that sense. Of course, unless it's not during an objective, and then you need to be a little bit careful. But pop this thing early and realize it's going to take a little bit of time to start that flow of health back into you. But in the whole early game, people are going to think they can kill you. So you play careful and you farm up. And now all of a sudden, targeting Arthas come 10 is a huge mistake. And then we make it even worse at 13 by reducing their armor. There's other choices here as well. Biting Cold can increase the damage you're dealing if you're more in that sort of camp at the moment. And when we get to 16, we talked about a little bit Remorseless Winter, which is that secondary route you might get on the front line. It's very, very, very rewarding to just be chasing somebody, have them slowed, and then suddenly chunk, lockdown, 1.25 seconds on that. But if you are sniping, like that Vala, for instance, Embrace Death is really cute. Don't use it for anything else but snipes. Deal damage and heal the lower Arthas's health is. This is a snipe, not a heal. You are getting rid of the back line is the goal of this talent if you're doing it.
This is my favorite talent to take in quick match against a Nova.
Yes. It's got good range on it. It's going to hit hard.
Yep. This is a Nova being cute, trying to win that Dragon Shrine against you, and drops an orbital strike. Stand in it on purpose and then blow the Nova up. Make sure you have enough health to survive it.
Right. And she leads with her big burst, and then you're sitting around like even a fourth if she's too excited. Greymane as well, if he's doing the Cursed Bullet, you're going to jump down in health real fast. This could be a way to turn it around on him. You're just not doing a favor to your allies. And you'll see people swear by a Frostmourne Hunger sort of build, where they just take all the auto attack talents. It's fun. It's fun. Start with this build we're talking about here today.
Yep. I would say level 7, once you start getting comfortable with knowing how to survive on Arthas, try going Immortal Coil. I think if you're not in a matchup where you really need Icebound Fortitude, or you don't necessarily need to lean on it as much, I think Immortal Coil might be the better talent
At level 20, Legion of Northrend is one of the more auto-pick talents. There's one situation where you wouldn't want more ghouls and for them to heal 50% additional time and last 5 seconds longer. If you're fighting Jaina and all of her AoE friends, there may not be any ghouls left after the initial fight starts. And in that case, you'll probably go with Death's Advance or maybe think about Anti-Magic Shield. It's like one situation where they're so heavy on AoE damage that ghouls just do not survive.
Arthas's level 20s bum me out more than anyone else. But
they're pretty lame.
Yeah. Yeah. My fun talent at 20 is Death's Advance. I want Hardened Shield back.
Yeah, just flat armor would be really nice for the guy. Granted, we got Icebound Fortitude earlier, but it's only 25, so you know we're begging a little bit here, but they could be more flashy. Either way, this was your huge advertisement that if you were playing tank, Arthas has a fantastic spot in your roster against those diving characters who are in the top win rate today.
Yep. Consider him and let us know how it goes. Speaking of getting in contact with us, we should take a question.
Darkness stopped calling.
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
Okay, tell them I'm not here.
You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com, or if you're a patron, we've got a question chat channel in our patron Discord. Head on over there, drop us a question, skip the inbox line. Jason from New Jersey writes in and says, I played a Hero League game that had 1 bronze, 2 silver, a 4 gold, a 2 plat, and a 1 diamond player. I'm from gold 1. Wait a minute, this doesn't add up. Which one were you? 1 bronze, silver, gold, plat. Yeah, that's 5 players.
Total. I think he's talking about 10s. Like maybe the rest are all golds, and these are the various.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Anyway, he said on a Friday night, queue time was around 15 minutes, and I guess the matchmaker just said, F it. The game was about as disjointed as you could imagine, and we ended up losing pretty badly. I just want to promote into Plat and make the switch to Team League, but I guess it just isn't meant to be. Lost the promo game to Plat twice, frowny face. Officially put me on the combined ranked modes bandwagon. How long do you think ranked will remain a viable play option in Heroes? The knowledge is spread thin, there's less discussion about strats than ever, and the queue times are only getting longer. Don't mean to be a naysayer, but as someone who mainly plays ranked modes, I'm very much considering moving to a MOBA that I know will be supported by both devs and influencers, despite HOTS being my favorite MOBA ever. What are your thoughts? And this is a bit of a downer email, but Jason is not alone.
No.
I think this is an important conversation to have, and you're ready for a little group therapy, Kyle?
Absolutely.
This is what I've been getting at the last couple of weeks when I've mentioned that I see the combining of Hero League and Team League as an inevitability, as something that's going to happen to this game if we stay on this current course.
I don't think there was anything malicious about the solo Team League experience being added and Hero League being ruined because of it. But the reaction to such a sweeping population change as we all migrated over to Team League and heard whispers in their own AMAs that Team League might be considered as the go-to MMR for the upcoming merger meant we left Hero League in the dust. There's also that diamond guy in your team there. He's a diamond 1. He's got MMR decay. I have MMR decay. Why did I sit through a 35-minute queue? Because I don't want to lose rank because I didn't play every 2 weeks. That's insane. And a lot of that is what's causing these rainbow games, because we're not very interested in playing Hero League, us up in the top. We just have to. That's got to go.
Yeah. There's this. I mean, if you truly believe that the merge has to happen at some point, and you're done with Hero League because of the wait, is it just pride at this point?
Sure, I think it is a lot. Yeah, and I can't blame people because that is the mode we put all that work into, and a lot of us feel the sting of our time spent in Team League being a little for fun,
No,
a bit wacky.
There's no judgment at all. I'm just trying to understand because I've made the switch, and I think it's important to remember that these Q woes happened long before the Heroes Apocalypse. The canceling of HGC and the news that half of the dev team was getting moved to different projects. That they just made some changes to Team League that made it very attractive, and a lot of the player base just moved over there. And everyone's opinion is a little bit different, but it's kind of irrelevant at a certain point. This is a numbers game, as it is with any online game. You need a certain amount of players for queues to be not only short, but also for your matchups to be balanced. And it's an issue we now find ourselves with.
There's also a lot of romanticizing going on in our community with what's happening in other games. A lot of our streamers are making tweet longers about how they're going to League of Legends or Dota. And it's a grass is greener environment. I can tell you full well that things aren't much better in those other MOBAs. You're still going to have those bizarre matches where things are a little off. The MMRs have gotten a little mixed up. Somebody's returned with a good MMR after 2 months, and the games are long. 45 minutes is a long time in an adult life where you're loving yourself some Heroes of the Storm. And for me, it'll constantly come down to things like tanks and supports getting to be active, getting to have an experience in this game rather than 15 minutes of waiting to see which guy gets the most gold. I mean, that's why I'm still here. This is a fabulous game, and you won't find that exact experience in other MOBAs. And that's not an advertisement. I don't care if Blizzard hears that and like, oh, Kyle likes their game. No, like this is the people's game now.
Yeah, to a certain degree. Yeah. It feels like Blizzard's leaving us with no other choice. Like, sorry. Like, you're quiet. We're not getting updates as much as we're used to. Like, look at what's happening with these community tournaments. The players are taking it upon themselves to create the environment, to create the competition, to create the content that they want to see.
Right.
And I know it's a hard thing to hear, especially in our pool, after hearing about, so many different shows ending.
Yeah.
But it's not all doom and gloom, but what it is it's change.
And we can continue to be clear in our desire for those combined rank modes. And that's something I'm really trying to do here. The last thing I want to do on this show is just slap things down and say, no, there's no devs for that anymore. Like, well, let's have our fun ideas. What did we do when we were younger, before games as a service came out? We dreamt that X mode or X hero in Super Smash Bros. Would be added for our own fun and whimsy. What a horrible thing to say. Just, well, that can't happen because there's no devs to work on it. Like, we can be clear and make sure their path for what we need in this game is 100% obvious. And that is the combined ranked modes, which we are full on hoping and perhaps promised is coming with the next season roll.
I would like to add that if you are of the opinion that is not the best thing to do, that you very much enjoy Hero League and that stresses you out and concerns you and you're raging at your listening device of choice right now, that I think that's a fair opinion to have.
Yeah.
It's just that my opinion is that this is unsustainable.
And I know I'm different because of my league, that when I hear Smurfs, blah, and be boosted, brr, I'm like, bring it on. Like, okay, I fight a Grandmaster every day. That's pretty damn sweet. Honestly, I think it's really cool to see even Lily end up, this week, Lily, 35 Grandmaster. What are you doing on Lily, bro? That's pretty weird, but all right, bring it on. Hanging out with his silver friend. I think that's really his friend. But if I was in silver and I saw the silver with the Grandmaster, I'd probably think that silver was some boosted butt trying to get ahead in life. And to me, it's just a fun thing happening.
I don't have a counterpoint there because I'm in the same boat. So
yeah.
But if you do have a counterpoint, let us know. itmcast@gmail.com, or drop the questions in that Patreon Discord question channel, like we mentioned. But
I don't think Jason's being a naysayer here at all.
No, I don't.
It needs to be sooner rather than later. It's not fair that the mode you put all that work into, I hope there is some sort of recovery of that MMR for you that Hero League is favored in some degree. You put in the work in that environment, and you might and should be rewarded when the team league goes, and maybe you'll get something higher than your team league because of that.
One can only hope.
Yeah.
Ready for those AMAs. Bring them on.
I also love trouncing as a bunch of solos, some 5-stack thing. So it's just, you know.
Yeah, the chance for glory is worth something.
Yeah.
And I think it's important. It's important to have that discussion and remind everyone that it's there. How good is it going to feel when you win in those scenarios?
It's not an auto loss in my mind, and that makes it very different than what I see a lot. And that's not what Jason's saying here, but when we look at communities online talking about this sort of stuff, those are sort of arguments we hear for Team League being a horrible experience, and it's just not the case in my book.
Yeah, I agree. I'm still enjoying my Team League, but that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Keep those emails coming, itncast@gmail.com, or drop us a message in the Patreon Discord. Speaking of our patrons, thank you so much for supporting us, everyone. Patreon.com/ITN is the place to go check that out. Huge thanks to our producers, Declan H., Cheesy Bob, Pathagos, and Crusader Dave. Thank you very much. If you'd like some Into the Nexus swag, it's available over at shirts.amove.tv. We also have custom etched glassware, things like pint glasses and such, over at etched.amove.tv. We're typically live Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. That is the case this week. Come join us in the chat room. Talk to us, twitch.tv/amovetv for that. And if you are a patron and listening or watching this live, the Bonanza is tonight. If you are signed up, don't forget, we'll see you after dinner. We're going to have some fun tonight. It'll be a good time. Yeah. And if you're just about to become a patron, we do Bonanzas once a month. And keep an eye on patreon.com/ITN for the next sign-up link. You can follow the show on Twitter at ITNcast. That's where you'll see us post things like time changes and also links to the Bonanza sign-up. But other than that, Kyle, I'd ask you what you want to promote, but am I safe to assume that it is Enter the Apex, the latest podcast launched by you and me talking about Apex Legends?
Why, yes, Garrett.
Cool. That's a thing. It's everywhere now. It's finally on iTunes. It's on iTunes. It's on Google Play. It's on Spotify. It's on Stitcher. It's there, though. If you use it, go download it. And our second episode is already out. And if you didn't already hear it because we mentioned it, Trixler joined us for our second episode. It was a lot of fun talking to him.
Guess.
Yeah, there were a lot of Heroes references, too. So if you want to learn about Apex Legends with a bunch of Heroes anecdotes, that's the episode for you.
Exactly.
Go give it a listen. Other than that, Kyle, where can everybody find you?
You can find me over at twitch.tv/Kyle Fergusson playing Heroes of the Storm Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I would also like to hint at this weekend's There Will Be Dungeons, where we will be announcing the most ridiculous podcast tie-in I have ever seen in my life. And I'm really excited for you all to see it.
Wait, what?
It's not announced yet, so I can't announce it here, but it is bananas what we are selling and tying into There Will Be Dungeons coming up soon. So enjoy that.
Okay. I'm very excited to see what this is. Folks, I'm Garrett Art on Twitter. All of the podcasts, including this one, including Enter the Apex with Kyle and myself over at amove.tv. Go check it out. If you need a graphic designer, I do that too. And my portfolio and contact information can be found over at nomoonart.com because no one can spell my name. So go check it out. Just updated my portfolio. It's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you all for listening. If you're supporting us on Patreon, if you're just listening to the show, if you're dropping us 5-star reviews, if you're telling your friends about this, thank you very much. We'll be back next week for the next episode. But until then, good luck, have fun, and enjoy your weekend, everyone.
Take care.